There's not a lot of things that I know, but one thing that I do know, we will break the game down. You will probably hit the like and share. I hope that you will hit the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. But we got a lot that we have to talk about. Defense, chef's kiss. Absolutely beautiful stuff from your secondary. Welcome to big boy football, Deshaun Spears. We'll talk a lot about him tonight. The offense, good Lord. Guys, Florida is a really good defense. They came out throwing punches. You have man-to-man coverage in the entire first half on the boundary, and they're playing press. You have two guys that run a sub-4 240, and you don't want to get vertical. I do not understand it. We'll talk about that. It's not what I know. What I know is it sucks to be a Florida Gator. It sucks to be a Florida Gator. It sucks to be a Florida Gator. I would assume 102,000 screaming LSU people are screaming that out of the stadium. You got a lot that you did great. You had a lot that you need to clean up. Majority on offense. You can try to do it next week, but I got to be real with you. There's nothing that LSU can do for me against Southeastern next week that will make me feel any better about this offense. Just being honest with you. There's nothing that they can do. But we have a lot that we have to discuss. Everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, and wherever you listen to podcasts, do us a favor, rate, review, and subscribe. Every episode and postgame is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Go over to FanDuel.com today and do that go over to FanDuel. I did a 20-leg $1 parlay today. Did not hit. But it's all about having fun with our good friends over at FanDuel. If you have discretionary money, go over there and use it if you like to. Want to have a little fun? Go sign up at FanDuel today. If you don't, I encourage you to not do it. Don't go spending money that you don't have. We greatly appreciate our partners, though, over at FanDuel. Let's go have some fun together. We'll get you some money over the next couple of weeks where when you sign up, and we'll give you some bonus cash in the coming future. But do us a favor, hit the like and share as well. And every single post game is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. There's a couple of ways before we get rolling here that you can get started into the show. For an example, Frank Castle sends in a super chat here. You can do that. So you want to get involved in the show, send in a super chat. We get to them after the end of our breakdown here. We also will be doing live call-ins at the end of the show, so you can do that as well. Do not call until we tell you to call. But you can get involved here, as Frank Castle did. He says, Alex Atkins has got to be our OC after this game. We have an inexperienced OC that can't maximize the immense talent that we have or that is available to him. I would assume that during this entire game, we are going to have a lot of discussions about this offense. Why wouldn't we have a lot of discussions about this offense? Guys, it's not good. It just simply is not good. And I understand that it's going to get a little inflated. As an example, like, let me just say this. You can go to the box score, and if you box score watch this game, you can say, oh, well, they had 316 yards. Guys, you had 96 yards on the ground, 96. You had to get 40 of those on the last run of the game. The last run of the game. You only had 10 first downs. You went 4-14 on third down, which, by the way, we brought this up on Thursday as an example to Frank's conversation here. But LSU on third down, let me get to it here. LSU coming into the game was 13 of 27 on third down. They were 4-11 against Louisiana Tech, 9 of 16 against Clemson, and tonight they go 4 of 14. Now, my math's not good, but if math does serve me well, you're 17 of 41 on third downs offensively. You are getting out coached. You are getting out schemed. And that is a bottom line. You are not going to be an average offense if you can't stay on the field at least 50% of the time on third down. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And you can't keep having fumbles and mistakes. Now, you only turned the ball over once. You could have turned the ball over twice. And, guys, you're only down 10. Right? Like, you're only down 10. So, I mean, as much as it felt like you dominated that game, you still are in a situation, whether it be Clemson, whether it be Louisiana Tech, or whether it be tonight, defense got you 5 interceptions, and you didn't blow them out by 40. You should have blown them out by 40. Just being honest with you. All right. Thank you, Frank, for the super chat. I'm sure Frank's going to be in here all night, but we will get to all the super chats at the end of the show here. Florida won the toss. By the way, I had a lot of people asking me this question very quickly. We go drive by drive and break the game down that way. That's how we do it here. We recap the entire game. Throughout the entire breakdown, we have conversation pieces. That's how we do it. That's how we're going to continue to do it. It's been very successful. We're not going to stop now. Florida won the toss and deferred to the second half, and LSU would come out on their first offensive drive and have a 3-and-out. Caden Durham on the first play had a dive run for 6 yards. I just don't understand. Like, guys, we're on the first play here. I don't understand. You have a good run on first down. Why not get the tempo of the game up and moving and run the ball again there to see what you have? I never understand our decision-making offensively. But you start off the game with a really good run. It would not foreshadow the night for you. Nuss is flushed out of the pocket. Pass is tipped by Tyreek Sapp, the defensive end, which leads to 3rd and 4. You spread everybody out. You run an out route to a running back on 4th down who is double covered. Guys, you have a lot of receivers. To split out your running back and throw an out route to him on the first drive, you're trying to be too cute. You have Aaron Anderson on a drag route against a linebacker, and you're running an out route with a running back who, guys, we all love Caden Durham. I love Caden Durham. But one thing that I do know is with all of the weapons that we have on this offense, what I probably don't want to do is on the first 3rd down of the game to split out a running back from the backfield, throw an out route to him when he's double covered. By the way, that means that you have, well, you had 2 wide receivers to the right, and then you motioned out. So you have 3 wide receivers to the left, or to the right, excuse me, and you have a bunch formation to the left. And of all the receivers and tight ends that you have on the field, you want to throw an out route to the running back. Guys, I just don't understand it. I really do not get it here. Why you would do that? Maybe you saw something, maybe you didn't. I don't really know what you saw or what you didn't see. But my goodness, my goodness, man. My goodness. I mean, it's borderline criminal in some of these instances. Borderline criminal. So I don't really get it there. I really don't get it. But it is what it is. So 3-and-out to start off the game. You would punt it away to Vernell Brown III, who is a true freshman for Florida, and he would have a 20-yard return. Because we talked about that on Thursday. I don't know why they are kicking it to him. I'll give Chadwick this. He punted the shit out of it. Multiple 50-plus yard punts for your punter tonight. It will go unnoticed, but what a hell of an addition from the portal from Middle Tennessee State. First possession, defensively. Brown on a quick slant goes for 7 and 8 to Marcus Cooley on the stop. Ball on a dive for 3 yards, and they get a first down. A screen to Brown on the outside that would go for 5. You're 3 plays into this, and play is stopped. Whit Weeks is called out of the game for targeting. What? Guys, I'm not 12, 13 minutes into this show. What? I'm not going to go full blown. We got a lot we have to discuss, and I don't want to go full blown here on this Whit Weeks thing. Maybe I should. Guys, targeting in college football is broken. It is broken. I don't understand it. You have a guy that's trying to break down and make a tackle, and because his helmet hits somebody else's helmet, you say, oh, it's the crown of that. Guys, he's trying to run, break down, and make a tackle with a guy running into him. We have to use common sense. Everywhere around college football, they are trying to expand the playoff, whether it be playing games, whether it be whatever it is. So many changes with realignment, transfer portal. There's all these things that can change. But one thing that has got to be addressed, it must be addressed in college football, is the targeting penalty rule. I have a great solution. Give the team a 15-yard penalty and then let the player sit out for the rest of the drive. Make it a rule. If there is a second by the player, kick him or not kick him out of the game, suspend him for the rest of the game. To kick out Whit Weeks and to call that play 3 plays into the game could have been catastrophic for you. You would wind up losing his brother, your starting middle linebacker, later. And for whatever it's worth, I thought the third week's brother played good enough. Now, if he's got to go in there and start, ESPN said Wes Weeks had a calf strain. It didn't. He crying too much. He was crying on the sidelines. I don't know if that's a calf strain. Maybe it is. I don't know. But looked like he grabbed his hamstring, if I'm being honest. But regardless of that, I don't understand it. I think it is the worst call in college football to kick someone out for an entire game. Guys, we are on our third play from scrimmage for Florida offensively. We're in our 7th play of the entire game. The intention is clearly there that he is not trying to target him, right? Like, it is obvious. Now, you can say and come in here and say, well, Blake, it's by the letter of the law. It's by the letter of the law. I could give 2 shits. We have to start having common sense. And let me tell you something else that pisses me off. What pisses me off is earlier in the day, the ACC made acceptable to where we could listen in to review calls. And the SEC is too chicken shit to go out there and allow us to hear the review so that they can be held accountable. He's breaking down trying to make a tackle. So what? I mean, he's head up with him. The defender can clearly see him because he's putting his head down trying to absorb the hit. Just because the receiver puts his head down and wants to absorb the hit doesn't always go on the defender. We allow running backs to put their head down and literally go head-to-head contact with a linebacker. Name a time you've seen a running back, when he's running the football, get called for targeting. It is a horrible rule. We're not 17 minutes into the show, and I'm already on a fucking rant. It is a horrible depiction of where college football is. And quite frankly, Greg Sankey, Tony Batiti, and all these Rudy Poos and these commissioners come out here and talk all kinds of shit about, oh, we're doing so good. Look at what we changed. Change this. You want more games? You want to make players play more games? Fine. Give them a little leeway on actually shit that's on the field. I got a great idea. Here's a great idea. You ready? Players are getting paid TV revenue money. Just in case you just started following college football. Let's say you woke up from a coma for just, You're in a coma for 6 months, for all I know. And you wake up and you find out, wait, players are getting paid TV revenue money now? Yeah, suspend them. Hit them with a fine. Do something. But the most significant thing that could have happened in that play on a quick slant when a linebacker is running and trying to make a tackle, good Lord. By the way, I can't really tell what's happening in A&M and Notre Dame as I'm sitting here watching it or sitting here playing in the studio. But they had a play just like that, and they picked the flag up. The lack of accountability the SEC gives is absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. 7 plays into the game, and we got an ejection on Whit Weeks. He was fired up, and he had every single right to be. All right, so that would give Florida a 15-yard penalty and a first down. Jaden Ball on the inside dive goes for 2. Don McKinley making a presence. Good play by the big fella. A fade route on the outside is missed by DJ Lagway, his first almost INT of the game. 3rd and 8, Delane comes on the corner blitz. Lagway has to jump, and throw the ball away, and you force a field goal to start off the game. So really, guys, other than a horrible penalty, they did absolutely dog shit, and they barely did dog shit all night. They shouldn't have got that 3 points. 45-yard field goal is good, and quite frankly, it feels a little bit of some of the points that you gave up against Clemson. Let me explain. The fumble that you had led to a field goal. Guys, other than that, you're giving up a score in 12 possessions tonight. You gave up 1 touchdown or 1 score in 12 possessions. Elite. Guys, you're averaging only giving up 9 points a game. Elite. But that penalty should not have been thrown, and quite frankly, it was a great kick, and it's a far kick. Give it to them. Good on them. They took advantage of what they had. But you have arguably the worst call of the night go against you on the first drive of the night, and you're able to stand up and stand proud and get the stop. So a field goal is good. Second possession for the offense. Aaron Anderson on a quick screen on the outside for 7 yards. Why do we have 2 5'7" receivers on the boundary? Why? Why are you allowing Xavion Thomas to block on a quick screen? It gets 7 yards because Aaron Anderson is a dog, but it is what it is. Durham on an inside zone run goes for 2 yards, which would bring up 3rd and 1. Durham on another inside zone run is hitting the backfield for a tackle for a loss, and would force a 4th down. I couldn't really tell who gave up the pressure in the interior. It looked like the center and guard combo on the right side gave it up because that's where you ran and where you got hit in the backfield. Guys, you can't line up and run and get 1 yard for a first down. You've had 6 plays and 0 first downs. You've ran the ball 3 times for 9 yards. You can't line the ball up on 3rd and 1 and run it. If Jack Pyburn has to come in the game and be a fullback, let his big bruising ass come and do it. Because you can't get no push up front. For some reason, I guess they're blaming Caden Durham for whatever reason. I don't know. But Caden wouldn't see a lot of action after that. It's dumb. This offense is broken. So another 3 and out to start out a game. Just abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Second possession for the defense. An out route by Trey Wilson III. I guess I don't have to say the third because I say Trey. And Cooley is called for a PI. BS call, man. I mean, Greg McElroy on the telecast said he caught him and threw him to the ground. No, he didn't. It amazes me how those guys have all that technology in the booth and they can't look down on a TV screen and see that Cooley gets run into by the receiver, and when he breaks out, he trips over his own feet and falls down. Cooley's got to know that he's got to get a little bit of leeway there. I'll give you the PI. To say he threw him to the ground, it's a bit ticky-tack. Regardless, would be a 10-yard penalty. We go for a first down. Lagway on a scramble right up the middle, pressured by a whole host of Tigers. He's able to get out of it, go right through the middle, and get 7 to Marcus Cooley on the stop. Jaden Ball, an inside zone run, goes for 4 and a first down. Swing pass, screen to Ball, goes for 17. So I thought early it was going to be interesting to see how many screens they threw to try to take the pressure off of DJ Lagway. The Jaden Ball screen on the second possession really started them throwing screens a lot in the game early. And I think they got away from it way too early, and it bit them in the ass. But they had a really good game plan, I thought, getting him the ball out in space and making these safeties try to tackle him in the open field. I know that they tried to do it on one play in the second half in the third quarter to start the game, and Harold Perkins came down and lit his ass up, and then they didn't run it again. But it really was a situation where I thought that they were going to continue to do this all night until you stopped it. Now, they didn't, but on this specific drive, they go for 17. They got to call a timeout because the clock was running. The play clock was running down. They call a timeout. Outside zone run by Jaden Ball goes for 8, but it gets called back for a holding on Jack Pyburn. I thought Pyburn set a very physical edge tonight in the run game. Every time they ran in his general direction, he was physically dominating. Got the holding call there to back Florida up for a massive, massive penalty there. Ball would go on a screen for 8 yards, another swing pass screen that would go for 8, and would bring up second down. Vernell Brown on a jet sweep goes for 2 or 3. Harold Perkins in on the stop. So, guys, they're trying to go left and right, and they're trying to get the ball out quickly. And you're doing a fantastic job at tackling in space. They're getting some yardage, but you're doing a fantastic job at tackling in space. It would lead to 3rd and 10. And Deshaun Spears, the safety out of Denham Springs, Louisiana, would come up with his first interception of the night. Boy, talk about reading a quarterback and talk about making an elite play. The corner route that Florida ran is undercut by Deshaun Spears and picked off. This young man can be special. He broke the Louisiana record for interceptions in a season, if I'm not mistaken, with the 10. Or at least a 5A record. But I remember Denham Springs posting about it. This kid, given time, was always going to be special. If you are a believer, or you're a believer, if you're a follower of this show, and you've been a follower of this show for a long time, did A&M just walk this off? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. All right. Sorry. Damn. I'm just seeing it right here. Damn. Woo-wee. Couldn't be us. It can be us. It really can be us. Oh, my God. I can't believe they walked it off. I can't believe they walked it off. Anyway. Spears INT. This kid got a lot of playing time last year. He just wasn't ready. And I thought that when you brought in 2 safeties, the real question was going to be, what do you do with Deshaun Spears? I think TaMarcus Cooley has played great. I think A.J. Halsey has played fantastic. Both of them have played really good. But now what do you do with Deshaun Spears? And what LSU did tonight with Deshaun Spears and allowing him to roam around and be a playmaker has got to be one of the smartest things that I've seen a defensive coordinator do. What is Deshaun Spears' best ability? It's not been the run game right now. What his best ability and what Brett Beard at Denham Springs allowed him to do was sit at free and go make plays. It's why as a junior he had 10 interceptions. teams did not throw in his general area as a senior. They did not do it. They didn't do it. What they did do was allow Deshaun Spears and Brett Beard, let this young man play center field, because when he does, he makes elite plays. He makes elite plays. That, I thought, was the start of the entire turning point for your defense. Let me back up just a little bit. When I look at Florida this season, when I look at them, I see a team that has talent, but also is in a situation where the talent that they have and the talent that they use, okay? Blake Baker utilizes it better than I've seen in a long time. He utilizes his talent in depth at a way and a level that I have not seen coordinators do here at quite some time. In quite some time. So it's elite stuff by Blake Baker, and a very big decision to let Spears roam the field and be a playmaker, and it paid off for you there. Third possession for your offense. Nuss misses Aaron Anderson on an out route. Would bring up 2nd and 10. Caden Durham on a dive that goes for 2, which would bring up a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 situation. Nuss is flushed. He has no rush and flushes out of the pocket. So I shouldn't say he got flushed, but he rolls out with no pressure. Pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage. He would have hit Barrion Brown for a first down. Just gross, man. Absolutely gross. 3 drives for your offense. 3. And you have 3 3-and-outs. 3 possessions. 3 possessions, 3 3-and-outs. Now let's stop right here for a second. Your offense is in trouble. Your offense is in trouble. I don't know what else to say about it. I legitimately don't. You can't miss Aaron Anderson when he's wide ass open. You can't. Then when you get in 2nd and 10, they know you're running the ball. They knew it. And for what it's worth, you can't run the ball to start off with. So, I mean, it's just you're ramming your head up against the wall. And you have no identity whatsoever. Let me just be clear with you. I have no idea. Now, let me back up. Let me back up. I think if you ask Brian Kelly and you ask Joe Sloan what their identity was, you would get an answer. Okay? I wouldn't agree with anything that they gave me because I don't think you have an identity. I don't think you have any idea of who and what you want to be. Good offensive coordinators, Mike Denbrock, and before you say, well, Blake, Notre Dame lost, didn't they score like 35, 40 points? You score that many points, you shouldn't lose. That's neither here nor there. Mike Denbrock's opening press conference, Joe Brady's first press conference, what did they both say? We got to establish the run and be physical up front. Okay? Well, you're not even doing that, and you can't do it. You can't do it because you're not physical enough. You're trying to be a fancy dink and dunk, screen pass, whatever you're trying to. I don't know if you have an identity. I don't think that I think you feel like you do. I have no clue what you're trying to accomplish on anything. On anything. Guys, in the first quarter, they are playing bump and run man coverage on the outside. I don't understand. I don't understand how you're not trying to get vertical and tell Barrion or Chris to outrun somebody. I know that they have safeties that are playing deep. Nobody respects you running the football. No one. So they are going to play bump, cover 2 man. They're going to man up on the outside, and they're going to play cover 2 behind it. They don't respect you from running the football. I get it. Later in the game, on the next possession, you would hit Barrion Brown when he squatted on a fade route in cover 2. They try to mix it up on you. And that's a good situation. But there were 2 times, and I almost tweeted this, and I'm going to go find the clip, where Chris Hilton is in man coverage and has at least 2 steps on the far right boundary on his DB. But yet you're trying to be cute. You're trying to be cute. You're trying to methodically move the ball down the field. Sounds good. You want teams to come up on you. You want teams to back up on you. You got to do what they're giving you. If they are going to not respect you, you have to get these receivers that got elite speed and say, go fucking run. Run to the end zone, and we're going to throw the ball. I don't get it. 9 plays, 3 punts. The only good thing is Chadwick would have a punt that gets downed at the 5. Now, a lot of people can get game balls. Blake Baker, Deshaun Spears, and I don't even know who got it. You guys can tell me in the chat who got it later because I can't follow it. You could give it to Blake Baker, Deshaun Spears. You better give one to Chadwick because, good Lord, he downed a punt at the 2 and he downed a punt inside the 5. Guys, you can win a lot of games like that. You really can. You really can. I see a chat in here. I just want to bring it up. Brian Williams on Facebook says, Blake, do you think something's wrong with Nuss? Maybe there is. Maybe it's the knee. There's been rumors about an abdomen issue. I don't know. That's like the 7th time I've seen you guys in the chat saying BK went off on his press conference. What did he say? Somebody in the chat tell me what he said. Somebody said he went off. Okay. We'll see. I'll go listen to it. I always listen to it after the show anyway. All right. 3rd defensive drive. Ball goes on a dive for 2 yards. Livingston on an out route for 5 yards. And then you would bring up 3rd and 3. Ball on a TD. It was the situation where you're down in the end zone. Lagway gets flushed to left. Ball is wide ass open and goes for a touchdown. It gets called back for a holding. I do think Gabe Rutherford would have sacked DJ Lagway if it wasn't for the hold. But the only busted coverage of the night gets called back for a holding. We talked about this with Florida just a minute ago. Every time they do something great, they have a penalty. They have the talent, man. They do. They had 2 touchdowns last week get called back. They had a touchdown tonight get called back, and they could have really started taking hold of the game. Is what really could have happened. The problem is DJ might have been sacked, and the play might have never ever happened if the hold doesn't happen there anyway. So you can say whatever you want. Literally, Relaford is about 2 steps away and gets thrown down, and that's why he got flushed anyway. So I know it comes back, but it is clearly a hold. So I'd bring up a 3rd and 10 should have been a 3rd and 13, but it was a 3rd and 10 here. Jackson on the inside zone goes for -1 yards. Jack Pyburn in for a tackle for a loss. You would get a punt, and they would bring it down to our own 45-yard line. So finally, some really good field position. can you go 45 yards and get points? I mean, if you can't go 20 yards and get a field goal, you don't deserve to be out there, but you've had 3 and outs to start off the game. Screen to Aaron Anderson is incomplete. The ball was down by his feet. Barion Brown on a fade route that he squats in cover 2, perfectly executed by Garrett Nussmeier and Barion Brown, and it goes for 18 yards. Harlem Berry on a dive, back-to-back plays for 2 yards apiece. On the second one, Braylon Moore would get called for a holding on Caleb Banks. One step forward, one big play for you on the night, and it gets called back for a massive holding. Juwan Johnson on a screen goes for 5 yards on over the middle, and it would bring up third down. 3rd and 14, a timeout by Garrett Nussmeier. Didn't like the protection that he was seeing. Don't like it early. I guess you can call a timeout there. 3rd and 14, again after the timeout, false start by Weston Davis. Just can't happen. I mean, guys, you got the ball on your own 45-yard line, and you can't do shit. So you have one big play, and you're backing yourself all the way up. You had a holding call and then a false start penalty that keeps backing your ass up. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. So it is what it is there. 3rd and 19, Garrett Nussmeier would scramble right up the middle and run for 5 yards, and that would be the end of the first quarter. Start of the second quarter, Damian Ramos would make a 47-yard field goal. That would be good, and you're tied at 3. 4th possession by the defense. Ball runs right up the middle, gets tackled for a loss by Jack Pyburn, his 3rd tackle for loss on the night, at least the way that I see it. Hanson, the tight end, goes out for 11, which would bring up 3rd and 1. Jackson goes for a dive up the middle and would get 4 yards, and it's a first down. Lagway on a zone read for 5. Keys would be on the stop. Brown on the screen goes for 1 to Marcus Cooley, blows it up. That brings up a 3rd and 4. So you have some good plays here. You got a tackle for loss by Jack Pyburn, an out route by Hanson. 3rd down, you only give up a couple of yards. Lagway on a zone read, a screen that goes to nowhere, which brings up a critical 3rd down. Guys, they're going to move the football on you. But what I see from this defense is, look, you're going to give up some plays here and there, but you're not giving up the big plays. And you hadn't yet. At least one, but it got called back for holding. You're letting everything go down in front of you. And you're coming up and making the tackle because you believe that you can make the tackles. So you force a 3rd and 4 on the 4th possession in the second quarter. Harold Perkins comes off the edge, pressures DJ Lagway, and he throws it away, and Florida would have to punt. The first big, massive key play of the game came from Xavier Thomas on the punt after you forced him to punt it. He fielded the ball at the 10-yard line and had a 21-yard return that would set you up for a touchdown. Guys, sometimes you just need massive plays in special teams, like you had a punt down at the 5-yard line that set you up for really good field position, and then you had a situation where you field the punt at the 10, you have a 21-yard punt return, and it goes for what would be your first overall drive for a touchdown. Absolutely beautiful stuff by Xavier Thomas. He is a tackle away from busting it wide open. Xavier Thomas on a screen route out of the backfield is blown up. Juwan Johnson misses a big block and would be a tackle for a loss. Barion Brown gets an 8-yard out route. I call it an out route, but Nuss was flushed. He was able to hit Barion Brown for 8 yards. 3rd and 5, Thomas on a quick slant goes for 15. So a big punt return by Xavier Thomas and a quick slant in the slot that goes for 15. We talked about it this week, especially on Thursday. With Carter, we talked about it. When he is in a bunch formation or when he's got 3 receivers or he's in the slot, you can't leave him by himself on the boundary. You got to let some traffic be there for him. So you put him in the slot, which that is his best position. He goes a quick slant and it goes for 15. You would go trips left and have him on the boundary, but then you would motion in to get him on that in route. So 2 plays to Xavier Thomas that's not at the X. I don't mind Xavier Thomas playing. I don't like him on the boundary by himself, and it's something we talked about all week. 2 explosive plays will come on this drive. That would be the first one, the quick slant. Juwan Johnson on a dive goes for 2 yards. Then on the next play, Garrett Nussmeier would miss him on a check down that almost got picked off. Oh, Juwan, I can't blame Juwan. I know Garrett's screaming at him and telling him to sit on the check down. He can't scream at a guy that literally 4 weeks ago was still taking reps at 5 weeks ago was still taking reps at quarterback. I know he was there last year, but I give Juwan Johnson a lot of leeway. A lot of leeway. I do. You just got to work on it. Aaron Anderson on a 3rd and 8 down the seam goes for 20. They played soft coverage. They look like they were pressuring you. They don't, and they can't get back quick enough when they show the pressure down the seam. The safety's unable to get there. Really good read by Garrett Nussmeier. He hits Aaron Anderson that goes for 20. Aaron Anderson motions back in the backfield on an inside dive that goes for 4. Don't mind it. If you're going to get positive yards, I don't really like Aaron Anderson running the football there, but nevertheless, they do. Screen to Nick Anderson on the far boundary goes for 8. I think Nick Anderson needs to see some more action, or Chris Hilton. I do. Because you can throw Nick Anderson screens and hitches and slants, and he's a big-bodied receiver that can make plays. Nick Anderson's got to play more. He's got to play more. Because if you want to get Nuss in a rhythm, what is wrong with a quick hitch or a quick slant with a guy that's 6'4", 220? Someone please tell me. You got a lot of speed that's on the field already. Get him the football. They do there, and it pays off. Garrett Nussmeier is under pressure, and he runs right up the middle and goes for 10 yards. Arguably the best play of the night by Garrett Nussmeier was the run. They kept sending pressure on him in certain situations in early downs. He gets away from it and runs for 10 and gets the first down. Now, it comes back for a holding. I don't care. It shouldn't have been a holding to start off with. That's the maturity stuff that you see from Garrett. Hey, man, wide open lane, I'm going to step up and run for 10 and get a first down. There are going to be times where he's got to do that, where you're not going to have the holding call. The very next 2 plays, they would drop 8. All right, well, if Garrett's going to run, we got to respect it. He's going to beat us. He's going to beat us if we keep doing that. So we're going to back out. So Johnson on a toss play after that would go for 9 yards, which would set up the TD score. I thought it's just a beautiful play, man. You can't – Garrett is not going to be Jaden Daniels, and you're not asking him to be. You're asking him just to go get yards when they're coming after you and there's a hole wide open in the middle. Stinks that you had a holding. And you get away with it because they start bailing on it because they don't trust what they're seeing. They got scared there. Regardless of that, you have a toss play that, quite honestly, was gotten you the most yards on any run plays that you had. And it was a really good run by Juwan Johnson that goes for 9. You would do it later in the game, but he'd fumble it. Next play, on the 5th possession, you would have an in route by Xavier Thomas that goes for 23 and a score. I just really think that, look, you motion a guy out, he then goes into the slot, they whiff on him, and he goes in for 7. Kid can make plays. He's not a boundary receiver. But there's definitely a connection that's formed to 0. Maybe you got to keep going to him more. I mean, you might have to. I really like that play. LSU would go up 10-3. The only touchdown drive for Florida on the night. Look, man, you're just going to give up touchdowns in this league. There are going to be teams that can score. And if you're giving up one touchdown in 12 possessions, I'm going to take it. But let's roll through it really quickly. False start by Florida to start off the drive. It comes after a play action from Lagway, and Pickett misses the sack which flushes Lagway out of the pocket. He hits Brown on a broken play for 18 yards, and it goes for a first down. DJ had a good night. I think with more experience, he's going to find that blitz, and he's going to get home, and he's going to get a sack. Just got to live with some of those. Broken play again for Florida goes to Aiden Mizell for 8 yards. So, look, even in their own scoring drive, it's their quarterback that's having to get flushed and make plays. Guys, it's all you can ask. Like, if they got to go out there and get flushed, if Lagway's got to go out there and get flushed to make plays, then it is what it is. I mean, you're going to wind up giving it up 7 here, but it doesn't really matter because you want them to go out there and make the play and put the pressure on them, and you did. And sometimes you're just going to have to tip the cap, and you have to do it here. So you have 2 broken plays, one that goes for 8 and one that goes for 18. So it really is what it is, and tip the cap to Lagway for making those plays. A dive play that would go for 2 or go for 1 yard that would set up a 3rd and 2 for Florida. Another one of those screen swing plays to Jaden Ball goes for 25. Guys, they got away from it because they knew you were sending, or they kept hitting it on you because they knew you were sending pressure. You did a great job in the second half of backing out of it and tackling in space, but they knew you were coming, and they hit you on it. So 2 broken plays and a quick screen because you were trying to send some pressure after Lagway, and it gets a big play gets hit on you. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, you could sit there and analyze it, but knowing what we know about what this defense is going to do tonight, I just can't sit here and harp on it. I legitimately can't. I mean, yes, you're going to get beat by teams when you send the amount of pressure that you do. It's a little bit surprising that in some regards that you're 3 games into the season with the amount of pressure that you send. Guys, you send pressure 50% of the time, this Blake Baker. And in that pressure that gets sent, they're just teams that are going to be good in the screen game like Florida, and they can hit these big plays on you. Tip of the cap to them. Broken plays and a quick screen. It is what it is. You would adjust and you would start making the play. Outside zone run by Ball goes for 5. Cooley lights him up along the sidelines. Really big hit by Cooley. RPO slant missed. DJ Pickett in on the coverage. 3rd and 5. Mizell on an in route. Looked like the linebackers just didn't get enough depth there. They went to zone coverage. They didn't send the blitz. And it's just a really good decision and throw by DJ Lagway. Again, they're making really good plays. The one area in the zone that you're not there, and they make the play on you. Again, I just tip of the cap to that young man. He had a rough night, but not in this drive. He didn't. Clark on an inside zone run goes for 1 yard. Don McKinley blows the play up in the interior. Zone or speed motion play action. And Lagway misses the tight end in the end zone who was wide open, which would force a 3rd and 9. Corner route in the back left far in the end zone is caught by Mizell for a touchdown on to Marcus Cooley. Again, just going to happen. I mean, great throws beat good coverage. And you had a couple of great throws on that play by Lagway, and they score and tie it at 10. I saw some people talking about Cooley, but I thought Cooley had a good night too. I do. It's just when you have a safety out on a receiver, sometimes those plays are going to be made on you. And they made some big plays. They schemed one on you. Fine. You took a punch. It's like in boxing. I don't even know, is Bud or Canelo winning, or have they even started fighting yet? I don't even know. But you're going to give up some plays here. It is what it is. The 6th drive, so you give up a touchdown, they tied at 10. 6th drive for the offense. Durham on a dive that goes for 3. Sharp on a hitch that goes for 5. So it brings up a 3rd and 2. Aaron Anderson on a quick slant goes for 14. And you pick up the first down that would lead to the 2-minute timeout. Got some movement here. Got 2 quick plays for 8 yards. 3rd and 2, putting Garrett in really good field position, or down in distance, on a 3rd and 2. I think one of the biggest complaints about this team a year ago was that Garrett was in way too many 3rd and longs. The one thing I will give Sloan is this. Because we talked about your inefficiencies on 3rd downs. What the thing that bothers me the most, you have been so far in the first half on six 3rd down situations. All of them but one come with 3rd or 5 or shorter. We just talked about this. 3rd and 5 or shorter. And you can't connect on all of them. On this one, you do. I don't mind you getting, when you're starting a drive, in 3rd and short situations. It benefits you. The problem is the amount of times that you're getting in 3rd and 5 short and you don't convert is not good. So we blamed a lot of the 3rd down situations a season ago about, well, Garrett is in 3rd and longs. Guys, you had been in 5 3rd and shorts, and that was your first conversion on 3rd down. Your first on a quick slant to arguably your best receiver. No shit. When you get the ball to your best playmaker in space, holy shit, he makes plays. Why we get away from Aaron Anderson so early and often is beyond me. Beyond me. You get him on an out route that you miss on him. Well, it's a bad throw. You hit him on a seam route and a quick slant, and he's got 2 catches for 35 yards. Maybe you want to get him involved a little bit more. Just hypothetically speaking here, I don't know if I've never been a play caller, and I'm not smart. But how many times through 3 games is Aaron Anderson going to get involved before we start saying, hey, we might want to get Aaron Anderson involved? It's beyond me. It's beyond me. But a 2-minute timeout on the 15-yard slant route would be it. Caden Durham on an inside zone run goes for 5 yards, brings up 2nd and 5. Garrett Nussmeier on a seam route to Bauer Sharp is airmailed and almost picked. Oh, we got away with one, team. We got away with one there. Oh, that was rough. That one could have been a momentum killer. That one could have been a bad momentum killer. Whew. Damn, my pen's not working. I have 7,822 pens in this sumbitch, and not a damn one of them works. There we go. All right. 3rd and 5. You're driving the ball a little bit, and you run the football. This was the one right before the half where I'm just like, what are you doing? I get you just had Caden Durham on a run there that went for 5, and I get what you're trying to do. I get it. Really, I do. Really, I do. But, man, you're playing field position at that point. Do you not trust Garrett? And maybe you didn't. After I thought about it for a minute, this is what I really thought. You're tied at 10, and Garrett almost threw a pick. And I felt as if that they said to themselves, hey, Selves, we're not letting Garrett – no, you just threw a pick. Run the football. And they got a little timid. I understand it if that's the call. But then it's also telling me that you don't trust him. It's also telling me that you don't trust him. Whew. Could have been bad there. 3rd and 5. Caden Durham goes for 2. You go for it on 4th down. You try to get a hard count to draw them off sides. It doesn't work. You got to punt the football. Playing a little field position. But time on the clock is running down here. Wilson on a screen goes for 8. Brown on an in route goes for 15. So you punt the ball. You try to run it on third down. You don't get it. You try to draw them off sides. They don't jump. And that could have been bad there. Could have been very, very, very bad. But it's not. On the very next play, it's a bad throw by DJ Lagway on an out route to Mizell that Harold Perkins almost picked off. And you started, what it seemed to me at the end of the second half, you started showing one thing and then giving Lagway another. Meaning, stand by. Hold on. Stand by. All right. I had to clean up the screen a little bit. We weren't doing good there. Anyway, Harold Perkins almost had an interception right before the half. Patrick Payton on the rush, and Lagway almost made a very, very bad decision there, and Perk almost got him one tonight. Whew, that would have been bad. That would have been very bad. 3rd and 7. Halsey baits DJ Lagway, comes down on an in route to look like Mizell on 3rd and 7 and gets an INT. What a beautiful, absolutely beautiful play by A.J. Halsey. Guys, the last 2 years, and here's the truth. The last 2 years, you have been god-awful, abysmal at safety. Twice in the first half, you have 2 safeties making INTs. That is what good safety play looks like. One you got from the portal, and a guy that is a sophomore, a true sophomore, a top 50 recruit that you got out of the state of Louisiana. A.J. Halsey has been arguably one of the biggest additions this offseason. It is not close. The interception there, after they just hit 2 massive plays on you, and it's a tie ball game, and it felt like momentum had been shifting between both teams. The young quarterback makes back-to-back very bad decisions, and a very athletic and very good secondary makes him pay. Perk almost got the interception on one, and A.J. Halsey comes down and gets another. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Halsey is one of those guys who you can do so many different things with him. You can let him come down and help and run defense, which he does a lot. And then on these critical downs on 3rd down, he plays center field and just continues to make plays. He did it against Clemson. He did it against Louisiana in the second half against Clemson when he had to kind of sit out and then come back. He did it against Louisiana Tech. And again tonight, he gets the interception right before the half. What is interesting, I was sent his Instagram post of him praising God, praising the Lord, and saying, Lord, please let me do this tonight. And the Lord blessed him because he got an interception. He asked for an interception, and the good Lord blessed it. Just an elite play. That's what happens when you spend money in today's college football. So all of you at the end of this, all of you that want to make bones about spending money in the portal, you want to spend money on the portal and hit on guys now? Because that's elite stuff. He baits a young quarterback, jumps in front of the route, and picks it off, by the way, with one hand. He's got like a mini cast on his right hand and still picked it off with it. Really good stuff by A.J. Halsey. Be the reason that you would get the lead before halftime. Last possession before the half, Aaron Anderson is missed on a seam route, overthrown, almost picked. Nussmeier misses sharp, but it draws a pass interference on the defense. Kane Durham dive that goes for 8, and you have a penalty on the play that offsets one another. Brian Kelly got absolutely meleeed along the sidelines. Weston Davis, the play of Weston Davis, where he's driving the guy out of bounds and the guy's holding him while he's falling down. How in the hell do you call that on Weston Davis? I get the play is over, but he is being dragged. He is pancaking a dude, and the guy is holding on to him for dear life. It's not Weston Davis's fault that he's absolutely dominating some human being and driving their fucking face into the ground. Now, Brian Kelly's got to be more careful along the sidelines, and I think y'all know what play I'm talking about. He got destroyed and hit because Weston Davis was killing a man. SEC officials are god-awful. You would have a penalty there that would offset. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But sometimes you got to put the flag in your pocket. That was a time that they should have put the flag in their pocket. It's not Weston Davis's fault. It is what it is. BK's got to be more careful, but he's a tough son of a bitch, and he's an Irish. So he shook it off. But Brian Kelly got destroyed along the sidelines. It's not funny. But if a guy grabs you and pulls you while you're pancaking him, that's on his own apparel and own cost. I want to stop right here very quickly too. This game got very chippy before the start of it, and I hadn't brought it up yet. We're an hour into the show, and I hadn't brought it up. This is what you get for being petty as hell. You get your ass whooped. Florida, from what I'm told, per sources, is that Florida kept walking over to LSU side in pregame starting shit. Caleb Banks was one of them. The edge that got dominated by Weston Davis was the other. If you want to talk shit, if you want to run your mouth, that kind of stuff is going to happen. I mean, that kind of stuff's going to happen. But it should have been a shorter field goal. But they tried to get in your head, and offensively, I thought at times that you let them, but I just think you're bad all around. All right, 40-yard field goal, false start by Tyree Adams, which lines you up for a 45-yard field goal. That is good, and you go into half 13-10. The only thing I would say, if we're going to break down the first half, would be this. Defense, good. Offense, sucks. Stinks. It's not good. I know I'm assuming Brian Kelly's going off in the press conference from what y'all tell me. I haven't seen it clearly. We've been here the whole time. If he did, I'm sure he's going to call us people spoiled. You media are spoiled about this offense. No, they're bad. They're not good right now. You can't keep having that many 3-and-outs. You can't keep having these dumb penalties. You can't keep having these dumb turnovers and dumb situations. You ran the ball on 3rd and 5 because your quarterback almost turned the ball over the play before, and then he almost did it to Bauer Sharp again, but it had a PI attached to it. He would make a dumb decision in the second half that we'll talk about in just a moment too. No, this offense is bad. It's bad. It's bad. All right, to start off the half, Florida would get the football. They go play action, roll out to Hanson, the tight end that goes for 9. Zone read by Lagway goes for 4, and you got a first down. Start event, the wide receiver goes for 17 on a deep drag route. Tamarcus Cooley was right there to make the tackle. Just got beat by a step on a deep drag. Brown on a hitch route is missed, almost picked off by DJ Pickett. Ball on a screen goes for no gain. Clearly, the halftime adjustments for LSU were pretty simple. The adjustment was we are going to show them pressure and then back out of it early when they throw some of these screens. Blake Baker outsmarted Billy Napier to start the second half. So you got a quick screen when it looks like LSU is sending pressure that goes for no gain. Harold Perkins comes down and blows up Jaden Ball. Absolutely beautiful stuff by Perkins, who was all over the field again tonight. All over the field was Harold Perkins. So just beautiful stuff. And you showed it that you were coming on second down, and then you backed out, which would bring out a long third down for Florida. Keys and Cooley come on a blitz. Harold Perkins backs out. DJ Lagway gets confused, and Keys and Cooley come up with the sack. So you showed them the same look. You didn't send pressure. Then you showed them the same exact look again. Then you did send pressure, and the kid was confused as hell. Confused as hell. DJ Lagway was more confused than someone who got blackout drunk the night before and finds themselves in their bed the following morning. How in the hell did I wind up here? But Blake Baker started off the second half completely in his drive, dropped him out of field goal range too, and would force a punt. The punt would land at the 17-yard line, by the way, and LSU would have a first down. You would have a 3-and-out to start off the second half because, of course, you did. Caden Durham on an inside zone run goes for 1. Thomas on an in route gets on a PBU, almost got intercepted. A lot of bad throws in the first half and the start of the second half. I mean, if Thomas isn't very physical there on the quick end, on the quick slant, guys, if Florida picks that ball off, there's no telling what happens. Golly. No telling what happens. Just not good. 3rd and 9. An in route to Hilton is tipped by the linebacker. Oh, and he's wide-ass open. He beats the DB in man coverage, too. He's wide-ass open. In route, linebacker to seize the throw, makes a really good play and knocks it down. Tip of the cap to them. Punt for LSU. Brown would return it for 20 yards. Good thing and bad thing about the punt game tonight. You had a lot of punts land inside the 5. You had some punt returns that went for 20 yards. That ain't good. Now, Brown is a really good return man. Very, very good return man. I don't know how you could have seen him the first 2 weeks and thought that you could punt him the football. That kid's going to break a punt return for a touchdown this season against a big opponent. It's going to win Florida a game. Y'all mark my words. Mark my words. All right. So you punt the ball. They get a 20-yard return. 8 possession defensively. Ball goes on a dive for 4 yards. Lagway scrambles. Perkins comes in on a blitz. He avoids the rush, goes up the middle, and scrambles for 16 yards. Screen, quick screen. Harold Perkins is coming off the blitz off the edge. He gets his hand out and knocks it away. Harold Perkins, second half, was all over the place, man. Gets a tackle for no gain on a screen, misses a sack, kind of forced outside, gets pushed out. Lagway gets up in the pocket and runs for 16. Very next play, he comes on a blitz. He stops his blitz and avoids the rush and gets a handout and knocks the ball down on a quick screen. By the way, you did not have numbers. Woodland was the only defender there. Cooley got lost a little. So if he doesn't make that play, you're in trouble. Harold Perkins with an absolutely massive play there. Lagway would scramble and hit Hansen on an out route 4-11. It gets called back for holding. Because every time they make a big play, I felt like that they got a penalty, if I'm being honest. They're lackluster on offense just as much as we are. Wilson on a quick screen goes for 3 weeks on the stop. West on the stop. I don't know if that's a play he got hurt on or not. I'm not really sure. Probably should have wrote that injury down, but I didn't. Third and 17 on a quick slant to Eugene Wilson. Deshaun Spears steps in front of it and goes for a pick 6 that puts the Tigers up 20-10. Deshaun Spears is going to be a guy for you, man. I thought the best thing that they did tonight was when Florida got an obvious passing downs and they tried to spread you out and throw the football around. You took either Perkins off or put him at edge, or you took another linebacker off and brought in Deshaun Spears. you're bringing him in and letting him do something that he's really good at. Again, it happened in the first half where he came down with the interception and he knew where Lagway was going to go with the football and he makes the interception. And this time, he somewhat baits Lagway, knowing he's going to go to the quick slant to his favorite receiver and jumps in front of it and picks the ball off. When you have a coordinator, Joe Sloan, take notes. When you have a coordinator that can get his guys in a situation where they do something really good at, something very elite at, put them in that fucking position and hold on for dear life, because great things might happen. You have 2 times where you're letting this kid come into a game and he's baiting the quarterback and throwing an interception. That would be his 3rd interception of the night. This safety room, guys, has got to be. I mean, D-line's there too because teams can't really run the ball on you either. But at least not right now. But man, I don't know if there's not a bigger addition and bigger leap than in your safety room. I don't think it exists because you have 4 interceptions tonight from Spears that had 2, Halsey that had 1, and then Cooley had 1 at the end of the game. 4 interceptions by your safeties. Guys, last year, you were praying to God that teams just missed because your safety room was the worst in the SEC. Let's make no bones about it. You had the worst safety room, I don't want to say in the country. You damn sure had the worst safety room in the SEC a year ago. You did. Tonight, they had 4 interceptions. Deshaun Spears is going to see more playing time because when he can be in the role that he's in, he is a dangerous weapon for you defensively. He is. I think the lack of experience got him beat out early in camp, and you're just in a situation where we're like, look, man, this kid can play, and we got to find him a role. Well, you found him a role in week 3, and he got a pick 6 that, quite honestly, if we're just being real, the defense at that point of the game has the same amount of points as your offense does. Outside, I guess you could say the field goal too. So we have a touchdown and you have a touchdown. Insanely great. You can't understate it, man. How bad you were a year ago, and now you're just everywhere making plays. All right, so you'd have the pick 6, which, guys, let's just be real, won you the football game. It won you the football game. You don't, I mean, unless I'm going ape shit crazy, which I'm not, that would be the last time that you score on the night. It ended it because they can't do anything else besides that. Ball game. Deshaun Spears. Way to go, young man. All right. 9th possession for your defense. I was a little worried if you were going to be a little bit gassed here. False start on Florida. Brown on a check down goes for 5. West Weeks on the coverage. This is the play that West Weeks got hit on. So after the pick 6, West Weeks goes down on the check down to Brown. Sucks, man. You're thin at linebacker. Whew. Boy, you're thin. Let's see if what this calf injury is all about. Guys, calf injuries can be 2 to 3, 4 weeks. And what you worry about with calf injuries is it a lot of times it's tied into Achilles injuries. Ask Tyrese Halliburton. Right? See how long he's out. But it's not, it doesn't sound season ending. So check down goes for 5. West Week's out. God, you're playing true freshman and first time redshirted freshmen and true sophomores. You're thin there, bud. You're thin. You're very thin. All right. Johnson on a dive goes for 2 and will bring up a 3rd and 4. Brown on a quick slant goes for 4 to Marcus Cooley on the stop. 1st and 10, Tank Guillory, the massive mammoth from within, has a sack. The rotation that you have in the interior is insane. Guys, that's like the 10th play that Tank Guillory had on the night. And they're worn down. They've been on the field for a long time, and you just took it to their ass. You took it to their ass. And when you can have a 5th-year, 6-year senior that can rush from the interior the way that he did, just great stuff. Big sack by Tank Guillory there. Absolutely amazing. Wouldn't be followed up good. Post route by Aiden Mizell goes for 27 to Marcus Cooley in to make the stop. Johnson on a 3-yard run, absolutely obliterated by Dom McKinley. Guys, this kid can play. Dom is not having the plays like that, like where it's just like big time stuff. They are double teaming him a lot. And the one time they don't, he runs down and grabs the back of the jersey of the running back and brings him down with one arm. Holy shit, this kid can play. Holy shit. Guys, he reaches out with one arm, grabs the back of his jersey, and yanks him down. Remember the beginning of the season, Brian Kelly talked about how, look, man, the leap that this young man has made is astronomical. It has been astronomical because of him making plays like that. Beautiful stuff. Jackson, on an inside zone run goes for no gain. They have a holding on Jack Pyburn on the play. Lagway scramble for 7 or 8 right up the middle would bring up a 3rd and 11. And Hanson, the tight end, in the flat goes for 2. Punt formation, LSU calls a timeout. They have too many players on the field, by the way. You just can't have that. Florida would wind up punting down it inside of the 5-yard line. Not good field position for an offense that's struggling. But you'd have an explosive play, arguably the most explosive play in the pass game. Actually, it is the most explosive passing play you have on the game. Aaron Anderson on a quick slant for 31 yards. On the second offensive possession of the second half. All right. Let's talk about something. Why are you going away from Aaron Anderson? First, I brought it up before. Why are you going away from Aaron Anderson? Why is he not getting 10 to 12 targets a game? Why? How many times does Aaron Anderson have to make a big play before you just stop being all cute and shit and throw him the football? How many times? We have a 15-yard slant, a 20-yard seam route, and a 31-yard quick slant. He had 4 targets. Four. How is that possible? He is your best offensive player, guys. It's not close. What are we doing? Last week, when you would drive on Louisiana Tech, you would hit Barryon Brown or Aaron Anderson. And then you would get closer to the red zone, and you'd go away from them. Why? Make teams adjust. You're not going to double. It's going to take a lot for them to double a slot receiver. They would have to do some absolutely insane shit. Why is it so complicated to get a guy a football who, by the way, on the night, just so that we all understand this, on the night, Aaron Anderson would have 4 catches for 75 yards, and we just listed 3 of them out. He would get the ball one more time in this game. Guys, what are we doing? He had 5 targets, 4 catches for 75 yards, 4 catches, 75 yards. And he'd have 18.8 yards per catch. I just do not get it. I don't get it. It blows my mind what we're doing here. When you make things complicated and you don't try to get your best weapon, the football, bad shit is going to happen. Want to know why you're not having success? That's the reason why you're not having success. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's simple. I feel like it is that simple. I don't know, man. I don't know. Toss to Juwan Johnson goes for 8. I was wondering why they kept going away from that quick toss. He had 3 quick tosses in the game, did Juwan Johnson. Now, the 4th one he fumbled the football. You can't do that. In the first half, you had a run for 6 on a toss, a run for 9 on a toss, and a run for 8 on a toss. You can't find the run game. Keep running the same play. I mean, why? You have 2 really good plays. Why are you going away from the 2 things that are working? Why don't you go full Ty Davis Price and run that same son bitch over and over again? Make them stop it. Anyway. Nussmeier flushed, interior pressure, rolls left, throws the ball away. Good play there. Just eat the down. Live the down. Sharp in the flat. Goes for 1, and it brings up, so you have a toss, and you have Nussmeier that's flushed, and you have 3rd and 2. Here's another 3rd down play where you're 3rd and 5 short. 3rd and 5 short. How many times are we going to be in 3rd and short, and you can't get 1, 2, or 5 yards? It blows my mind. Blows my mind. On 3rd and 2, you run a screen pass to Bauer Sharp that goes for 1 yard. Behind the line of scrimmage. Why are we throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage? Guys, I got to be real with you. Let's just stop for a second. I'm at a loss for words. I really am. Because you have a 31-yard chunk play, an 8-yard toss, and you you have to get flushed, you throw the ball away. Why don't you get some of these playmakers the ball in space? I feel like going to a tight end in the flat on 3rd and 2 is getting too cute. They have shown that they cannot stop Aaron Anderson. To Greg McElroy's credit, he circled Aaron Anderson on this play and was like, yeah, I mean, there's nobody in the building that I would go to right here other than Aaron Anderson. And they went to Bauer Sharp. Guys, scheme is one thing. And scheme can be a lot of things. You need good scheme, and I think you need good coaching. But if this defense has shown us anything, you also just need players. Aaron Anderson was a 5-star receiver. Why are you going away from him? I just don't get it. I don't get it. But it is what it is. You play some field position, you punt the ball, and Chadwick would down the punt at the 2-yard line. 10th possession. By the way, hold on. I don't need to pass over that. This kid can punt, man. We're not going to talk about it. It's not going to be a massive talking point. It should be a massive talking point. Hell, let's just make it a massive talking point. I don't want this Chadwick kid from Middle Tennessee State to get lost in the shuffle of all the great players that you brought in from the portal. You do that, and no, Joe Brady would never. He'd throw a seam route to Thaddeus Moss. That's what he'd do for a touchdown. This kid, Chadwick, I mean, you talk about so many things at safety, at corner, at edge, defensive tackle. There's so many things to take from the portal additions that you had this year. But this kid downing multiple punts inside the 5 guys is going to win you a lot of football games. It's going to get you to a playoff. making teams drive the ball 90-plus yards will win. Something is going to happen. With this defense, they're going to make plays. To down the punt at the 2 and for Chris Hilton to turn around and guide the ball out at the 2-yard line is also beautiful. Great, great, great stuff there. All right, tight end in the flat. Hanson in the flat would go to 9 yards. It would start the fourth quarter. Ball on a dive inside for 9 yards and would pick up a first down. Toss the ball would go for 2 yards. Harold Perkins comes down from that star position and blows the play up for a gain of 2. Bush in the flat. Cooley misses. Bush in the ball in the flat. On a screen pass, Cooley comes down from a safety position, misses. It's when he hits the spin move. He hits the circle button on Tamarcus Cooley. Mansour Delane comes down and makes the tackle. 3rd and 4 for Florida, and they would run a quick slant to Eugene Wilson, and it's a PBU by Mansour Delane. Guys, they went at Mansour Delane twice tonight, and he had a PBU in the most critical time. We talked about after week 1 in Clemson. Teams are not going to attack Mansour Delane until they absolutely have to, and he's going to keep going out there making plays. When a corner's locked in on every play and they try to run at you and they knock it away, this dude's elite, dude. This kid Mansour Delane is freaking elite. And he's the best corner that you've had since Sting. Best corner that you've had. The instincts are absolutely insane. And we get a PBU. 4th and 4, Florida lines up to go for it. LSU calls a timeout. They would think about it, and Florida would punt the ball away. This next drive encapsulates your entire existence as an offense. It's the cherry and sprinkles on top of the sundae. The 10th possession, you had a 65-yard seam route to Bauer Sharp. I really thought the worst thing that could happen here, after a 65-yard shot to Bauer Sharp, the worst thing that's going to happen here is that you can't move the football. You're going to line up for a field goal, and you kick a field goal, and you go up 23 to 10. But after the biggest play of the night that goes for 65 yards, you have a screen to Thomas that goes for no gain. You have 2 5'8" receivers out on the boundary, and you have Aaron Anderson blocking for Xavion Thomas on a quick screen. Aaron Anderson is a really good player. Asking him to block on a screen is probably down on my list on things that he does effectively. So not only are you not getting him the football, you're asking a 5'8", 5'9" receiver to block a corner that's probably got 10 to 15 pounds on him and is bigger and probably more physical than he is. What are we doing? Doesn't matter, because, again, the worst thing that you can think that would happen on this drive is that you got to line up for a field goal and kick it. But it's not. Juwan Johnson on a toss to the right gets fumbled. Florida almost scoops it up, but Aaron Anderson's able to get to the football and fall on it. It's a good play, guys. It would have been a gain of 8. You have found something on this little toss to the running back and letting them go and hit a hole and make plays. They weren't ready for it. Juwan Johnson was a quarterback for the first 2.5 weeks of camp. And in a critical down, you're letting a guy who was a quarterback, a DB, and then sometimes a running back halfway through the season last year to take the critical carries when you need it. Where's Caden Durham? You can't – the rotation, all that's great. And we can talk about it when the time comes. You can't fumble the football there. You just can't. He's a young player. He's a young back. He needs time to work some shit out. And I think Juwan can do some good things for you. I really do. I think he's a great athlete. The problem with Johnson right now is that the player that you want in when you can go put the dagger in? That's the issue that I have. It's a great run. It's a physical run. Really good physical run. You can't fumble the football there because they are really close to scooping that thing and maybe have gone for 6. Guys, it's a 2010 ball game. They score a touchdown, you're sweating the rest of that fourth quarter because you can't score. Because quite simply, you cannot do shit on offense. You got lucky. There are going to be teams that will make you pay on that. And yet another potential turnover. Guys, I got obliterated last year for talking about, hey, man, Garrett's got to be better on the turnovers. I got labeled a hater. I got labeled a lot of things. It was never about Garrett. It's about the turnover. You start turning the ball over. Look what happened to Florida tonight. Look what happened to him. Look what happened to him. It's not good enough. But the fumble is bad, but it's not the worst thing. The worst thing on this drive that you could have done was you lined up for a third down and a massive third down. And Garrett Nussmeier is flushed out of the pocket. And instead of throwing the ball away and eating it and punting it or trying to kick a field goal, he throws across his body and the ball gets picked. That's the Garrett Nussmeier of old, man. It's the Garrett Nussmeier of old. You can't make that play. That is a horrible decision in a critical situation where you got to throw the ball away or run it. It can't happen. And guys, quite frankly, you can live with interceptions. You can. What you can't live with is those kind. Concede the play. Punt the ball down to the 2-yard line again. It's situational awareness. It's situational awareness. I mean, you're not benefiting him, meaning Garrett, by not having an effective run game. You're not benefiting him by your O-line not being physical and giving up too many pressures. You're not benefiting him with some of the play calls and not scheming things up to get the ball to his best playmakers. However, it does not excuse. It will never excuse. You can have the worst play caller of all time. Your fifth year quarterback cannot make that decision. He can't. If he continues, which I don't think he will, but if he keeps making those level of decisions, like he did against Louisiana Tech, guys, the underthrow is an underthrow. It's a bad decision. I can live with it being a physical problem or a physical issue. Maybe it is. It's also a situation where he did throw the ball into triple coverage. You cannot have that play in that situation. You can't. I mean, I hate to be rude about it, but that, guys, you won the game because your defense was elite. You will go up against opponents that will whip your godforsaken rear end if you keep doing that level of stuff. So, abysmal. So you turn the ball over, and your defense has got to make a stand for you again. Jackson goes on a run for 6 yards right up the middle. Next play, Lagway scrambles up the middle for 7 and gets a first down. Jackson on a counter run goes for 2. Zach Weeks on the breakup and blows the play up along with Don McKinley. Slant to look like Mizell. P.J. Woodland on the PBU almost picked it off, which would lead to a 3rd and 9. Sturdivant goes for 4 or 5 on an out route. He gets hit by Halsey to force a 4th down and 2. Broken play along the sidelines. This is the one where Ball along the sidelines made the catch. Gabe Rutherford was in coverage. Again, I'm not going to get mad at that. It's 4th down and 2. Tip of the cap. Good for them. They made a play. It's a broken play. They had nothing. Great defense called. Lagway made a really good play. Fade along the far left boundary is covered by Mansour Delane. No one in the general vicinity of catching the ball either, so a really bad throw. Ball in the flat goes for 2 yards. A.J. Halsey with a big hit along the sidelines that would force a 3rd and 9, and Tamarcus Cooley would intercept the pass in the end zone. Safety room, man. We've talked about it all night. Great play by Tamarcus Cooley. Your 5th interception of the night. Absolutely freaking beautiful. Or no, 4th interception of the night because DJ Pickett's about to pick one off. The offense on 11th possession would go on a 3 and out. You have Durham on a dive that goes for 3, a toss play that goes for 6, and then he gets hit in the backfield on a whiff on the interior and goes for negative yardage. You would punt the ball away. Again, ass. 12th possession, Lagway gets flushed. McKinley brings him down. Maybe he should have gone for a sack. I don't know what they gave him, but a loss of 1 along the sidelines. Brown on an in route goes for 15. Hanson on the wheel route goes for 16. You're playing a lot of soft coverage right now. Hanson on 2 straight plays goes for 4 yards, getting hit in the flat. Would bring out a 3rd and 2, and Ball would go on a dive play for 6. The very next play is a broken play. DJ Lagway is under immense amount of pressure, and DJ Pickett, the 5-star, the true freshman, would come down with an interception. Beautiful play to end it. Beautiful play to end it. Secondaries, borderline, if not elite, man. Really freaking good. This kid's an athlete, man. He's a really, really good athlete, and he's only going to get better every week. He's started the game and was absolutely fantastic tonight and ended it for you. That kid's going to be special. He is special. Well, maybe not yet, but he's going to be very special. Big-time interception by the true freshman. Last possession of the game, you had an inside run by Durham for 3, an inside Durham run for 6, or 6 or 7, which would bring up a 3rd and 1, and Durham with Jack Pyburn in as the fullback would go for 51, and you would kneel the ball, and you would get out of the game. The Tigers would win 20-10. All right. So let's get to it all here. To recap this entire game in 1 to 2 to 3 sentences, I think offensively you are broken. I don't think that you have an identity. I don't think that you know exactly what you want to try to accomplish, and it's kicking you in the ass. I think that your play caller, I think that your quarterback, I think a lot of people are making a lot of bad decisions. I do think there's something that needs to be thrown in here. I do think you're playing really conservative in situations because you believe that you have an elite defense. With that being said, I don't mind you playing some field position games inside the game. It's just how, when you have a really good defense, how you do things. And I'm fine with that. I don't really mind you playing some field position stuff when you can force a 3 and out from your defense or force a stop and then turn right around and get good field position. I don't mind that at all. The problem is your offense is struggling, and they've been struggling. And by playing conservative, you're not allowing them to find a rhythm. So whether you want to blame the offensive line, whether you want to blame the play calling, whether you want to blame the quarterback, whether you want to blame how they're going about game plans, none of that, or Blake, why do we got to blame something? Because it's not good. It's quite simply not good enough. If we run through the first 3 games, quite honestly, you've scored, as an offense, you scored 13 points tonight because 7 of it belongs to the defense. You scored 17 points versus Clemson. And then you scored 23 points on a really bad Louisiana Tech team. You've scored 53 points in 3 games. So if the average, what we want to bring it up to, is 17.667 points per game, it's not going to be good enough. There's going to be a day and there's going to be a time where even though this defense is elite, and we think it may be very elite, the problem in having a really good defense is there's going to be a day where they don't have the juice. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're not going to play this level high caliber of defense every week. It's just not going to happen. I think of the 2011 defense that was the best defense that we've ever fielded. Go back and watch that West Virginia game. Go back and watch it. There were times where you gave up points. Thank God they were shitty on defense too. And well, we weren't, but thank God they were shitty on defense, excuse me. You're going to give up points. There's going to be a time where you give up more than 17 points. It's going to happen. So, with that being said, if you're asking me my opinion, they got a massive week offensively ahead of them because Southeastern Louisiana comes in here next week. And if you, for crying out loud, if you have some of these issues, you need to open it up and give your playmakers the fucking football. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I don't mind the field position game, but you're making very bad decisions over and over again. BK can say that we're spoiled. Maybe we are. Maybe we are. But I also know that what I'm seeing from your quarterback and your offense, just to run through it a little bit. Guys, you had 10 first downs in the game. You went 4 for 14 on third down. You have been abysmal on third down. You've been god-awful. Garrett went 15 of 27 for 220 yards and 1 interception and 1 touchdown. You had 96 yards rushing. You had to get 50 of that in the last play of the game that you really did something on. You had 40 rushing yards. 40 fucking rushing yards. Don't tell me that this offense is doing anything worth a damn. So, we got a lot we got to discuss this next week because it's not good enough. It's good enough to win you games right now. It's not gonna lead you, because I think right now that you're probably a playoff team. I clearly think you're going to win next week. Clearly believe you'll beat Southeastern. So you'll get out of the month of September undefeated. And then I look at guys, A&M beating Notre Dame tonight. They got explosive wide receivers. Who's to know that they won't get some plays off on you? I look at Ole Miss. What are they? I look at Oklahoma. What are they? I look at Alabama. What are they? I don't know any of those answers. What I do know is if you go in there averaging 17 points for the rest of the season, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. All right. We got a lot of super chats in here. We'll take some phone calls in just a moment when we get through these super chats. Want to give a shout out, though, to SLU Lions 07, who just became a new member on YouTube. Thank you so much. You can join as well. We'll greatly appreciate it. Frank Castle says, O-line was solid here, proving further this is a Joe Sloan problem. Nuss only needs to be Will Howard-ish, and he can be that experienced, or he can be that with an experienced OC. I mean, to be honest with you, Frank, Will Howard made some big plays last year, and they had Jeremiah Smith, and they had a good offense. They had a really good running back room. They can run the football. I think our problems are a little bit deeper than that. Ayo with 2 $5 super chats. Thank you so much. He or she, I'm not sure, turns around and says, fire Joe Sloan. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I mean, it's not good right now, but that just is not happening. That is not happening. So you can scream it from the rooftops, but it is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to call for the man's job. I mean, you're undefeated, but it's got to be better. It's got to be better. They know it's got to be better. I mean, Brian Kelly can say to the media whatever he wants, but he chewed out his offensive staff after the game against Louisiana Tech. That's not my words. It's his words. He literally said that he chewed his offensive staff's ass after the end of Louisiana Tech. Well, quite honestly, you scored 13 points tonight. It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work. I don't know if Garrett's hurt. I don't know what they're trying to do here. Maybe they're just trying to bide some time and hopefully he gets healed. I don't know. Ian Robinson sends a $5 super chat, says, we have far too many weapons on offense to be this bad. When does BK take over the offense over yet again? Sloan is garbage, water, and will cost LSU again. I don't think he will, Ian. I do not believe that he will. I mean, does he get involved? Again, to Ian's point, at the end of last season, hold on one second. Let's clear this. Let's clear this up. Hold on. Stand by. Stand by. All right. Need to clean up the screen a little bit. There we go. In the offseason, I came in here and said, I don't know how he walks it back. Getting involved and then not being involved. I don't know how he walks it back. I don't think he should have. This situation, I mean, now you're just in a place where he might have to kind of get back involved. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat. He says on this one, you've got a QB that's torn between overcompensating for a shite OC and trying to be productive for the team by taking stupid risks. Yeah, I mean, I get trying to overcompensate, but sometimes you just cannot do that because when you do that, you're going to get beat. You're going to get – guys, that interception could have beat you. It could have beat you. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it didn't tonight, but you do that against some other teams, it's going to beat you. You just had 5 turnovers of your own. Frank with another $5 super chat says, if you help him with an experienced play caller, the last part disappears and he becomes a game managing wizard and we sell to the natty. I mean, the biggest thing that I think that is the problem right now is that you're just not getting playmakers to football. Really. I mean, if we're going to call a spade here. I mean, Frank, they got to get Aaron Anderson more involved. I mean, how many more times in these? I feel like I'm having the same conversation that I had last year in some ways. Hey, get the ball to Aaron Anderson. He's your best player. And then you don't. I mean, guys, he's got 5 targets. He got 4 catches for 75 yards. At what point do you open it up to him? If I'm Aaron Anderson, I'm going in BK's office on Monday and saying, hey, I want the ball more. And I'm not talking about just against Southeastern. I'm talking about during the season. Donovan Edwards with a $10 super chat. He says, number one, watching A.J. Halsey play has been phenomenal. Agreed. Even from a leadership standpoint, which watching him he's making sure guys don't make mental mistakes after big plays. I agree. Donovan, I 1,000% agree. Cooley too, but AJ has been a massive addition for you. The interception does not show the run game stuff doesn't show just how much he's involved, and it surely doesn't show how much his leadership from a alignment standpoint shows up on the field. He has been arguably one of the, but maybe the biggest addition that you've had because of how great the safety room's played and just how good you've been defensively. He has been that good, man. He really has. I mean, he was good at New Mexico. He was good at Houston. He's good here. This is a really, really good player. Gerald Rhodes with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, bud. I greatly appreciate you sending in the $20 to the chat. Andrew Jones says Blake Sloan needs to be fired in all caps. 3rd and long, minutes to go, and we run it with a 3.8 yards per carry. Davis should be in a recruiting position. I think the 3rd and 5 would be the only one I would excuse before the half. The reason because Garrett almost threw a pick to play before. I will personally, I will excuse it because they're like, run it, punt it, let's get out of here. Our defense will make a stop. Sounds good. I don't mind that, but listen, I don't like taking yards away, right? Like I hate taking yards away. I really do. However, outside of that last run that you had, let's just call a spade a spade. I tried to do this against Louisiana Tech and nobody wanted to listen to me, but it is what it is. You had a 51-yard run to end the game. You wind up having, 25 rushes. So let's take 45 and divide it by 24. It's 1.88 yards per carry. 1.88 yards per carry. Garrett can't do shit with that. Nobody can do shit with that. So, I mean, you can't. I'm not going to blame him for anything, but you can't do that. You just cannot do that. It's atrocious. Michael Morris with a $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says in 2023, I would take the over every game because of both of our offense and defense. This year, I would be taking the under every game because of both of our offense and defense. I agree. I bet the only thing I bet today on LSU was the under. I told you on Monday the story with our guys over at FanDuel. I told them, listen, 43 and a half. That opened up at 47 and a half, I think it was. I instantly bet the under. I'm going to bet the under in every LSU game right now until this offense shows me that they have a pulse. And right now, they're not showing me that they have a pulse. Dane Bergeron with a $10 super chat says the offense is horrible and no way is in hell is Nuss a Heisman quarterback. Fifth-year quarterbacks don't make the mistakes he did tonight. If they do, it's once in a blue moon. But he made some mistakes. He's missing open guys. I mean, the interception was abysmal. I don't see. Here's the conundrum that you're in, that we're in. The conundrum is that you can't say that he's got a horrible play caller and a bad O-line and blame it all on him. But that's not what I'm blaming him on. Like some of the big the throws that were almost picked because he's trying to throw it to a receiver, I can live with a physical mistake. What I just can't live with is like the A&M interceptions from last year, tonight's interception, the Ole Miss interceptions. I can't live with those. I don't think you should either. That I don't want to hear about the offensive line. I don't want to hear anything. The offensive line has got no, like, we want to blame the offensive line for the interception tonight. Oh, well, he got pressure and he got flushed. Sounds good. Throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. What is that throw? Throw the ball away. Bayou Boogie 5 with a $5 super chat says, it is so unfair to win a game but not be happy. Sloan is atrocious. I am very happy. I'm glad you won. I am tickled pink that you won. I really am. I am excited. It is, you don't feel as bad right now as you would during a loss. Let me just tell you. We don't. We be in here bitching our asses off. But I get what you're saying. You want to win differently. You want to win when you have 5 turnovers and 5 interceptions. You want to win a little bit more convincingly. I know what you are saying because I 1,000% agree with you. Michael Roby with a $10 super chat says best player of the game, or best player of the game was the last when they ran an I formation. I missed the power I. Yeah, Jack Pyburn clapped some cheeks on that one. Pyburn's been at fullback all week. There's been stuff that I heard that they did with him at fullback all week. Maybe you just got to have a couple of plays where you tell Jack, hey, man, we might need you. Or get somebody else to do it. But I think Pyburn's a really good player there. But yeah, it's funny how that works. I mean, guys, if we're being honest, the power run game at the end of the game, it generated shit for Florida. I mean, not for Florida, for Georgia today. Guys, they went 22 personnel on the first play from scrimmage, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in overtime. And they ran a power play. They ran a power. And they're like, these kids ain't going to know how to stop this. And they ran power. And Frazier went for like 24. Maybe you need to figure that out. Jay Smacks with a $5 super chat. Win is a win. Cool. But we should have scored 40 minimum. It is just sad we have dogs at wide receiver and can't do shit because our offensive coordinator sucks. I mean, I don't know how many times I can say the same thing over again. Jay Smacks, thank you so much for the super chat. It's not what I'm saying here. What I am saying is guys, I'm going to let you vent. We'll take phone calls, but I just can't keep saying the same thing over and over again. David Kerr with a $20 super chat says, lifelong LSU fan in the 609 New Jersey from NOLA. Blake, how do we fix this offense? Number one, thank you. Where is everybody listening to from tonight? I completely missed that. Number two, New Jersey, Garden State. Got to love it. Paisans in New Jersey. But from NOLA. How do you fix the offense? I think some of these things are fixable. The things you can fix. Let me give a couple. I think you need to keep going and overly going to guys that are your best playmakers. I think you need to find ways to get guys to football. I think that you're running in a pass game concept. I think you're being too cute. I think that you've gone away from doing shit that works, like slants, hitches, drags, things like that. And for what? I don't get it. If Aaron Anderson's your best wide receiver, why aren't you doing that with him? What are the most explosive plays that you had on the night? I get getting them the ball in this screen game stuff, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. But let's run some routes in front of the sticks and see what happens. If they want to run zone, you got to know it's zone. If they want to take some shit away, then let them take some shit away. But you got to know other progressions and what they're in. In the run game, I don't know if there's a solution. You're not physical enough. You're not. I do not understand. Here, I would love to know. I would love to get a deeper explanation of two things. Number one, why is Curious Kern still at tackle? And can we get him reps at guard? Is he that bad from a physicality standpoint, worse than what you have in the interior? I don't think Josh Thompson's had a great season. I don't think Paul Mabinga's been good at all either. I don't know what you do there. But there have been teams that have struggled in run games before. Here's my opinion. I don't think you can win a national title without a run game. I don't. I think you can make the playoff without one. I honestly think you can win the SEC without one. To win a national title, you're going to be able to have to run the football or find ways to do it. Maybe you found something with this little toss play that you run. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you need to give Alex Atkins over play calling in the run game. Maybe BK's got to get more involved. But I don't understand going away from Aaron Anderson. I don't understand on 3rd and 2 why you throw a screen to Bauer Sharp, and I don't understand why you have 2 5'9" receivers blocking for him. That's not their strengths. I don't understand how you can be in a situation where you have a physical receiver, you get him the ball once, and he breaks a tackle and mauls a dude and gets a first down. I don't understand having Chris Hilton on the field for 30-plus plays, and I don't understand how they can be in man-and-man coverage and bump and run, and it's safe. Let the safety go over there and beat him too. Figure it out. But you got two receivers that are sub 4.2 guys, and you're not pushing the ball. Now, maybe there's an explanation. Maybe Garrett is still a little nicked up. Maybe the knee still hurts. There's a rumor about an abdomen strain that I cannot confirm because I just can't confirm. I don't know if it's true or not because I have no clue if it's true or not. If that's the case, then it understands you not pushing the ball down the field. Well, how long does it take for an ab strain to heal? But you're making throws. It doesn't excuse you getting away from Aaron Anderson. So I don't know how you fix the run game. I don't. Jeff Million sends a $5 super chat. Says, folks will say that you hate him because it's time to have an honest conversation about Nuss. I mean, Jeff, buddy, thanks for the super chat. Y'all have no idea the level of shit I take. There's 7,754 of y'all in this chat, in this show right now. 7,700 of you. Okay? In the 7,700 of you, you have no idea how I say something about Garrett, all the fucking hate mail that I get at the end of the day. After what happened this week in this country, I hope that dies down from people just sending hate off of my opinion. Because to be honest with you, it kind of terrifies me a little. And I don't want to go there right now. I don't. But it's time. You got to have an honest conversation about the turnovers are fucking bad when you have them like that. I mean, guys, BK can lose his shit on the sidelines, but Blake Ruffino can't. It's bad. It's bad. So, can't have it. Ace on YouTube says, a $5 super chat says, when we went to the seam one time, threw it to the slowest pass catcher on the field, and it goes for 40 yards. Actually went for 65. It went for 65. I mean, but yeah. He says, do we not see those opportunities on film? I don't know. I don't know. But you're certainly not processing the field good enough. Because there are things that are there. There was 4 or 5 drag routes that I can count last week that were there that you just didn't hit. Christian Wheeler with a $10 super chat says, I feel so bad for the athletes that we have on offense. They are not getting utilized properly. Kelly has got to make some major adjustments to his offense. I feel like Sloan ain't it. It's going to continue to be the theme, man. Some of these about Sloan, guys, I'm just going to have to run through because I got a lot of these, and I don't have – I wanted time for – I mean, I guess if y'all going to keep sending them in, we don't have to do phone calls. But I don't know what else y'all want me to say. AO with a $2 super chat says, BK just went off in the press conference. Well, I'm very intrigued to hear it. Ace with another $5 super chat says, I've seen several high school OCs call better games. Why are we running pop passes to the boundary side or zone runs to the short side? Ridiculous. The zone runs to the short side of the field, Ace, bothered the shit out of me. Here's something, and I don't want to get overly complicated, but y'all are smart enough to understand this. We run into numbers more than anybody I've ever seen. We will run into the left or right side of the offensive line, and they will have 4 when we have 3 to block. I don't get it. And I do. Here's one thing about the offensive line that I'm just going to give them. You can't stop that. I heard somebody last year say, well, you can take on 2 guys. Bitch, no, you can't. That's a 300-pound defensive lineman in the SEC. Shut the fuck up. Confirm to me that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But I don't know. I don't know. Greg with a $5 super chat says Kelly blew up on the first reporter that called us spoiled for questioning the offense. Boy, I'm really I'm intrigued to hear it now. Roddy sent a $1 super chat and now a $5. So we'll tag them together here. Says BK said he's tired of the offensive questions. They did what was asked of them. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I mean, he can be tired of them. He's going to keep getting them. He's probably trying to take pressure off of them because they're not performing. It was bad. He can say whatever he wants. It was bad. It's a bad performance. Let's just be real. I mean, it's not a good performance. Guys, again, you had 24 carries for 40-something yards before the long Durham run. Don't tell me that that's good. You had 1.88 yards per carry before the big Durham run. Don't tell me it's good because it's not. So you can hate having to answer them, but the God's honest truth is you can hate them, but they got to be, it's a solid, I don't even know who asked it. It's a solid question. And I have no idea what was asked and how it was asked. Unless it was something egregious, I guess. I don't know. $10 super chat from Nolan Strange says it's sad when our DBs scored the same amount of points as our wide receivers and running backs combined. What can we do to address the offensive struggles? Just what I mentioned earlier, Nolan. I mean, just what I mentioned earlier. Keep getting the ball to your playmakers, really. It's about it. It's about it. Stop running into numbers because you keep running into numbers. Cole with a massive super chat, a $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for sending in the super chat. Cole says, preach. Hope you're doing well. And do you think Kelly and Sloan are worth keeping? Well, I mean, Kelly, yes. I mean, here's the thing about BK. Thank you massively for the super chat, Cole. Massively. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Kelly, yes, because Kelly gave $1 million of his own money. He helped be a big addition to going to boosters and adding money to get these guys that you have right now defensively. You got to get better along your offensive line. You got to be better at play calling. You got to have better decision making from your quarterback. I do think I've always thought this. This isn't on Garrett. It could be any quarterback in the country. I don't care. I think you're limited to what you can do in the run game. And not having a quarterback that will consistently or could consistently run for 5 yards and get down or take a hit without limping, I mean, that's been Garrett's MO. It's been his MO. You're not physical enough. Hell Mendoza with a $5 super chat says it's not just a Nuss thing, but it seems to me like every top 25 offense has been either inconsistent or pure turkey crap. Analysis is dead. Yeah, or they haven't played anybody. Like Penn State's scored 50 today, but they haven't played anybody. Bro337 with a $5 super chat says, Blake, I'm going to send you a link for the GoFundMe to buy out Sloan. Let everyone know. Thanks, man. I want nothing to do with it. I get y'all's frustration, though. 337, I do. That one got away on YouTube with a $15 super chat. Says ROCs uses first downs like it's a Frisbee, and he'll figure it out on 2nd and 10. Also, why are we throwing outs to slow tight ends when we have exceptional speed at wide receiver? Please use the talent. You're just being too cute. I don't mind you. Here's the thing. I don't mind you throwing a ball in the flat to Bauer Sharp. I mind you having 2 5'9" receivers to block it. That's what I mind. That's what I mind. It bugs the shit out of me. It bugs the shit out of me. And I don't, like I said last week, I don't want Xavion coming off the field. And I think you should rotate him in certain situations. I don't want him blocking on the perimeter. I don't mind the play call. I mind how you're executing it. Because I think why would you call that when you know that it's not going to work? Why don't you design where you go trips left, and if you want to throw it in the flat or trips right, I don't give a fuck what you do. Why not do a bubble? Why not motion a receiver and throw it in the flat to a wide receiver that's got speed? I don't know. I don't know. The nuts bus is driving me crazy, says Bayou Boogie. Sorry. I really am. $5 super chat from Bro337. Blake, I'm not an O-line guy. Am I wrong in what I'm seeing? This team is not good at running counter by any stretch, but plays go for 5 minimum. I don't know. I'd have to really lock in on when they run counter. It hadn't been a lot. 337. It hadn't been a lot. I thought the tosses worked, and I think you got away from it. And I would have not run another play from a run game standpoint other than that one. I don't think Xavion had a carry either. No, he didn't. Jesus. I don't know. Guys, I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to give my full opinion because it's not fair, but I can only say you're not physical up front so many times. And you're not. You're just not. $2 super chat by Doug says ND is better without BK. Tell Joe to suck it. He's going to be pissed. I'm going to have to land that blow lightly. Travis with a $2 super chat says this defense over the 23 offense, defense wins. I ain't going that far. Not yet. Doug says 13 points on offense versus that trash Florida team is sad. Miami smashed USF today that beat this trash Florida team at home. Yeah, I don't necessarily like transitive properties. I don't like the transitive properties. I get what you're saying, and it's a fair judgment. It's a very fair judgment, but you're not wrong either. You're not wrong. You've regressed offensively. And if this continues, you're going to have to make some moves. Let's see if it does. They had 23 first downs. By the way, here's the thing. You had 5 fucking picks. You had 5 interceptions. 5. Anyway, I don't know if we're taking phone calls tonight, guys. I mean, we're already 2 hours and 16 minutes into it. I'll just finish with these super chats. Broad337 says BK said in his press conference that we can run the ball. No, you can't. No, you can't. Yeah, no, they can't. I mean, where? How? No, you can't. Here's what I am going to do. What I will do is this. Let's just call a spade a spade. Do I think it's better than last year? Yes, I do. I think it's been better than last year. What I'm not going to do is act like that Florida's front seven and Clemson's front seven sucks just because those teams are 1 and 2. I'm not going to do that because they're good. They're good front sevens. We can say whatever we want, say whatever you want. Guys, they have multiple first-round picks on both of their defensive lines. Woods, Parker, Banks are all going to go in the first round. Problem is you face a lot of good defensive lines. And as the season continues, are you going to get worse or better? I mean, you can only really get better. I mean, you only had 1.88 yards per carry outside that last run. Jordan Johnson with a $10 super chat says, do you think Cortez can call up better schemes? No, I don't. At this point, we got to mix it up. No, I don't. And I think you're too far into it for Sloan not to be the guy in Garrett's headphones or in his helmet. You're just too far in. He starts hearing other voices. You hadn't worked on it. Hankton's never called plays before. I mean, if you're going to go there, then go. If you're going to make a change, you go Alex Atkins because he's actually called plays before. I don't think that they will do that. Not based off of BK's comments tonight, they won't. Logan, and I don't even know him. Logan says BK needs to let someone else call second down plays. Kind of like Hugh Freeze, give a down to every one of the coordinators. I feel you. Hel Mendoza with a $5 super chat says BK throws a fit as much as he wants, but at the end of the day, this is his staff, his roster, his style of play. Fix it. Period. Yeah, I mean he can be mad at the questions for the run game stuff, but it's just not. It's not inevitable. Or that's not even the right word. It's not conducive. It's not conducive. All right. I'll make it up to you guys Monday, and we'll do Monday live call-ins. Doug says Anderson and Xavion across the middle or do it more often. I agree. Crazy with the Cheese Whiz with a $2 super chat says defense found a way. Go Tigers. They did. And we don't – I thought we'd have more super chats about how good this defense is, to be honest with you. They are elite, man. They've been elite. They're playing elite. I mean, they're doing some spectacular things. Sporadics Media says it took Lagway throwing 5 INTs for LSU to win by 10 points. If management of getting playmakers the football, LSU will lose 2 games minimum if it's not fixed. But love y'all, beat Florida, go Noles. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's not wrong. That's the unfortunate part. Doug Nose says we got a good defense and the offense sucks. This is a natty team if Denbrock's the OC. Maybe he is. I mean, I still love Mike Denbrock and would love a reunion, even though his team's 0-2. Colby Fudge with a $5 super chat says, if you've had success in the crossing routes, why leave that style of play calling? Because they don't have an identity. They simply don't have an identity. Their identity is try to be too creative. But in being too creative, you get away from your best players. And when you have great players, they have to make plays. You can't have – how many offensive plays did they run? The offense ran, 27 and 25. So they ran 52 plays. And you got, of the 52 plays, you went to Aaron Anderson 5 times. In his direction 5 times. 4 of those plays, he hit explosives. Some explosives. I'm going to keep saying it until they fix it. All right. I'm going to make it up to you Monday. We'll take in live phone calls on Monday. I promise. Remind me if I forget. But we won't. Broad 337 with a $5 super chat says, hear me out. Take every play Bama runs for Williams and run it for Anderson. What's the worst that can happen? Throw an interception. Be lost in the sauce. That's the worst thing that can happen. but I think Aaron will make a lot of plays. And Garrett's been around him, guys, 3 years. They've been together for 3 years. What are we talking about here? All right. Damn. 2 hour and 22-minute show. It's a good one. I'll make it up to the phone calls on Monday. Y'all got my word. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a great night. Peace.